If one is invited upon the stage, they may ask their question. If one does not wish to ask a question, do not raise your hand.
Hi, Kapil. Hope you're doing good tonight. I just had a really quick question, something I've been thinking about for years, but I feel like you may be the person to give me the truth on it. Does love exist?
Well, the answer won't help you, because if I said yes, it won't help you. If I said no, it won't help you. It's a complex term, and human beings create terms for which the definitions are vague, and then one ends up chasing the vague definition, and it just leads in circles. So the question, though it may be sincere, the question does not really have an effective answer, particularly in this context and in this setting.
Hey, Kapil. Hope you're doing well. I know you're a medical doctor. That's your background. So I was just wondering what your view on disorders or like bipolar disorder and manic states, or what you think the nature of those are.
Well, that has less to do with a medical opinion and more from the sense of a much broader sort of view on things, more in the human domain as opposed to a clinical diagnosis domain. Human beings suffer from various mental illnesses, and the categorization of them, while that may have some merit, I think there's a broader perspective upon that, which is that the recognition that what one thinks and one's views on things tends to be largely informed by one's distraction and brainwashing and conditionings, all of which are in fact a part of mental illness, which one receives from society. So there absolutely is mental illness that one is predisposed towards. However, just as damaging is the brainwashing that occurs in society.
Hi, Kapil. Thank you for the opportunity. I had a question here. How does one find his purpose in life? Because there are so many distractions, so there are so many motivations one has, but how does one find a definitive path for his life?
Life has no purpose. As long as one searches for a purpose, they will search forever.
Hi, Kapil. Thank you for the opportunity. My question is, I remember a chat of you and Naval, and you were talking about a desire of Naval that when he learns something, he has this urge to share it, let's say. And you said something like, the only way to fight the urge is to go through with it, or something like that. My question is, when there is an urge for, let's say, self-sabotage or a loop, like, I know you don't like prescriptions, but what must one do in those type of situations? Thank you.
I think everything begins with recognition and awareness. And where one is blindsided is when he does not recognize what is happening. So the very recognition that one is doing that is a very large first step.
Hello, Kapil. Thank you for the space. How do you determine what's true if you're receiving opposite opinions from people and the situation becomes emotional?
Well, that's very easy. No opinion is true.
Hello, Kapil. Thank you so much for the space. Thank you so much for the opportunity. At this current state, I find myself knowing my bad habits, observing everything I do, and still I choose to do the things that I know are keeping me behind. My heart and my mind want something more, especially for my kids. You know, I want to give them more than I have now. So my question is, when you find yourself like that, I know it's more of, if you know what you have to do it. But there's something in me that is just holding me back. So I guess I know I'm at fault. But what can somebody do? If you can help, I'd gladly appreciate it. Thank you.
What a person truly wants, he will do. And what he doesn't, he won't.
Hi, Kapil. I've been a listener for quite a long time. I love your content. I find it very enjoyable to listen to. I've had this question for a while now, and this is a genuine question. What is the point of this space? And let me clarify. I totally agree that there's no way you can prescriptionize anything. And so the path is kind of such that it's hard enough to even get on the path. And once you're on the path, part of it is also realizing that there is no destination, that you have always been at the destination, and in fact that there is no path. And so I guess my question is, like, if you understand all of this, right, and you also understand that...
First of all, you understand nothing.
No, I'm not saying I understand anything, and I'm not saying I'm looking for anything either.
Okay, well,
I'm just asking, if...
Hang on, stop. All that you have said is only understood intellectually, number one. Number two, you are driving yourself in circles because you are filled with spiritual concepts. All that you have just said is a concept. Therefore, you aren't really ready to ask any sincere question.
Hi, Kapil. Maybe you've talked about this before, but I wanted to know, how does somebody know that they've arrived, or if it's like some fake sense of bravado?
It's fake.
Hi, Kapil. Should we stop chasing happiness as we are always bound to be unhappy?
There's no should.
Most businesses today make money off human weaknesses. Will this change in the future?
What do you mean by most businesses make money off of human weaknesses? What is the human weakness?
For example,
if a store is selling shoes and you go and purchase the shoes, how is that your human weakness? And how is the business making money off of human weakness?
So if I take the shoe example, then Nike is trying to sell status and stories more than shoes. Actual cost of the shoe is much less.
Okay. Yeah. But did they ask, but in order for them to sell that, you had to buy into status first.
Yeah.
You had to subscribe to that notion first. So how are they selling you something that you don't really want?
Hey, Kapil. Are there any specific truths about the cause of anxiety, or are there any universal reasons?
No, there are many of them, but to state them, they just become statements. There absolutely is a cure to anxiety, but these things happen through systematic endeavors. They do not happen through a statement. But the answer to your question is yes, very much so.
Hey Kapil, so a couple of days back you posted an excerpt where you said if a man is going to die without having reached the mountaintop, what he may wish to ask is the point of doing anything at all. Is there a place from where, if a certain person is in his life at that point, he go to maybe a first thought of action, one first plan of action?
Well, that sounds prescriptive, to do the first plan of action, as if that's the best thing to do. It's when a message is stated, there's no reason to follow anything. If it strikes something within someone, then it does, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. But it has nothing to do with following it or turning it into a prescription. Whatever it organically did inside to a human being, if to anybody, it may not have done anything for any human being. But if it did, then than it did. But there's no such thing as, well, what does that mean? And does that mean that I follow my first thought that comes into my head, or that's just turning it into a specific action, an activity, a prescription, a method, a technique.
May I ask a follow-up?
That's not what I do.
Hi, Kapil. Just wanted to ask that to experience truth, just clear unconditioning of mind, the constant unconditioning needed, or grace also plays a part?
In order for grace to play a part, there must be purity on the part of the individual. Otherwise, they're not worthy of grace.
Hi, Kapil. As an artist seeking truth, how can I keep my art pure and truthful, because I am sincere?
Well, you may want to ask yourself why you're trying to keep your art pure and truthful.
Because I don't.
The answer was too quick.
Hi, Kapil. So it is being said that likes and dislikes are the culprit of the mind. So as a person, we are wired to choose what to listen, what to eat, whom to hang out with. So, is how much true is it?
Yes, likes and dislikes are a habit of the mind.
I heard you say the solution to the problem lies in the problem. What exactly do you mean by that?
What is the difficulty in understanding that?
Hello. When you're in a situation where you have to get things moving and the other parties involved are not able to think logically or are irrational, how do you bring in the actual in front of their eyes and reason out?
Nobody wants to hear truth that you force upon them. And a truth that is forced upon someone is rarely the truth to begin with.
Hi, Kapil. I'm planning to pursue an entrepreneurial venture of mine, and a question I wanted to ask you: what question or questions can I ask myself in order to know if my pursuit is born out of truth or not? Thank you.
You may want to ask yourself why you're interested in truth.
Hi, Kapil. Months ago, I asked you if I've been exposed to your work and I've seen through the window at what truth in that state that can be is like, but not found within myself the sincerities to make that search constant and permanent. My question was, am I doomed? To which you responded that you think I can answer that for myself. And I can say that every day I sit with some degree of turmoil, not knowing the answer or afraid of what the answer might be, or that it may be permanent. I don't know what my question is, but with that context, are you able to possibly see something I may be not understanding?
No.
Okay.
That brings clarity. Where do you look for clarity? Especially anywhere in life, in business, where do you look for it? Do you look for it outside? Because I seem to have a problem finding clarity.
Yeah, it is in the geographic location.
Sorry?
Exposed to your work around 6-7 months back, and at some point I got it, and I haven't felt any desire to listen to your work since, and it has been almost 2 months. And now that I got your notification, I was glad to hear you after a long time. I don't have a question. But if you could spare me 15 seconds, I have written down a few words that I wrote when I stopped listening to you, and I would like to part you farewell with those words, if I have your permission.
Okay.
Now that I have arrived and I see you for the first time, really see you, what do I say? For there are no words, there are no emotions, not even love. All I know is that I see you. And for the first time, in your eyes, I see myself. And that's enough. Thank you.
Thank you.
Why do you think it is that in businesses, creativity is fostered through collaboration and bringing many people around the table, but in artistic settings like music creation, creativity is usually driven by a single person calling the shots?
No, I don't think that creativity is created by bringing other people around the table. That may be the attempt, but I don't think that that's very fruitful.
Yeah, I suppose that in a business setting, you bring a bunch of people around the table and hope that the process pulls out creativity from some very smart folks. But in a band setting, if you have 5 or so people trying to call the shots on what makes its way into music, it often doesn't work.
Well, that's because business is not viewed as an art. The more people that you invite around the table, the more chaos you will have.
To reach my destination, I need to be sincere in multiple tasks and multiple smaller goals. And my mind tricks me into insincerity in some of those tasks.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure where you got that from, but if you did get that from somewhere, obviously you did. That has nothing to do with me.
Hi, Kapil. When you use the word truth, what can I infer? Would one interpretation be the way things are, the way it is?
Well, that would be reasonable.
Thank you.
But to seek definitions of things often leads one moving in circles. But that would be fair. It would not be wrong to move in that direction, but that isn't all it is. But if one wish to move in that direction, it's a safe direction.
Thank you.
After reading about human behavior and about nature and everything, and what I realized is the more you read about these things, and if you are evolving and people around you are not evolving, it gets a little difficult to connect with them, like my close friends and families. So it's very important that everyone is evolving at the same rate. But if that is happening, is there a solution around it?
Yeah, your problem is that you're reading too much.
Like, I don't want to lose people like my...
Oh, I guess so my question is, would it make more sense to make life more challenging to get to the truth quicker?
I suppose you think that that your life is not challenging enough.
Hi, my question is, do you believe in free will?
I don't believe in anything.
Still be happy or live a prosperous life if you are constantly in conflict with your parents?
Number one, happiness is a myth. Number two, wherever there is conflict, there will always be internal turmoil.
the fighting, or it's okay to just take a step back, give up, and like when is it to just walk away? When is it okay to walk away?
There's no rules. There's no prescriptions.
Is it possible to make short-term wants align with long-term desires?
The question is utterly meaningless. It is totally intellectualized and has no basis in truth.
Master, what is the true nature of indecision and why do we fear consequence?
Decision is a myth.
Thank you for having me. My question is, I'm struggling to understand what you said in one of your podcasts that chases lead to nowhere, and instead, the better way is to have the result chase you. I struggling to really understand that. Can you please explain it to me? Thank you.
What don't you understand?
Well, I don't understand what makes the result chase you really means.
Perhaps it would be better for you to focus upon chases lead to nowhere.
Hey, Dr. Gupta. I had a question about something you wrote a while back where you said if there's a desire for a goal, it creates an anxiety about achieving the goal that's greater than the desire. And the result is whether you achieve the goal or not, the suffering is endured. But given the way most of us are conditioned, is there an alternative to achieving a goal? Is there an alternative mindset for one to move towards achieving their goal other than the desire for achieving the goal? That's something I don't quite understand.
No. Good night.